So, guys, please let me know if I'm audible, if I'm visible. Yeah, hello. If I'm audible, please let me know. And very welcome to this particular session. And I have one special guys for you guys because in classes, in groups, in chats, you are asking something related to AI. So I have a Raj Gopala sir, and he will let you know everything about the AI. Whatever you want to ask, you can feel free and ask anything, whatever you want. And we will discuss so many things as well. So just join and let me know if I'm audible and visible. So please introduce yourself to the audience, and we will start the session.
Hi, hello, folks. So my name is Sarveshwaran, and I work for an MNC. And I know our client is primarily an airline industry, and I educate students. So that's my primary hobby. So over weekends and through LinkedIn and various different platforms, I educate students. That's always been satisfying for me. So create a lot of contents, create the video contents for the tech platforms. So that's the primary hobby. And on top of that, we are working at and for an airline industry for an cutting edge technologies using generative AI, where a lot of exploration is ongoing. Yeah, that's primarily about me.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So actually, guys, we are also working in a generative web field, and some of you are trying to just go in the generative web field and want transition in that particular field. And he is the expert of that particular field. So he will give you so much insight, so much things from the inside the industry that you can ask as well, and we are going to discuss. So guys, so if everything is fine, so we can start. I hope. Okay, so there is a one question. We will take your question after 5 to 10 minutes. Before that, we will do some discussion with the sir, and after that, I will start taking your questions, guys. Right? Okay, sir. There is a one video I have created somewhere before, and the idea of this video is that I was just I will say like stuck every day whatever I am teaching in the class, and the day after I think 3 to 4 days, this thing is old. Now some new version is there, new technology in there, like for example I teach student rag, then advanced rag, some more concept are there. After that what happened, tag is there, so student as well as me is very just feeling problematic at how we can make ourselves updated in that particular field. What is the thing I have to follow, what is the approach or strategy that I have to take care in that particular field.
Okay, I can look at this problem in two different angles. One from a student's perspective, one from a business perspective. So if I have to look at from the business perspective, what is the takeaway for me? Let whatever the technologies let it be, right? So lag, rag, advanced rag, the custom rag, and the self-grouping lag, and the CAG. So whatever it is, what is the beneficial? So what is the takeaway for me? Right, so whatever the improvements are there, whatever the version changes are there, even if you're able to bring some 1% improvement in the existing business product, the problem statement, that's a boon. Right, so forget the regular improvement that's happening, that's going to be there forever. But I see that there is a rapid improvement right now. That's definitely a problem for sure. But that rapid improvement could decline, right? So what is the business problem that you're trying to solve? That's the only thing what the business is looking for. Whether you are working on rag, CAG, whatever the tools that you're using, what is the problem statement that you're solving, and with the existing version, how can you solve the business problem? That's the number one, to answer from the business point of view. From a student's point of view, right? So there comes, even we are working for an innovations on the center of excellence. So we try to prove something so hard for the rag, say for example the classical rag problem. So we worked so hard, we worked 2 to 3 months to create a rag problem statement. And just after 3 months, the agentic rag has wiped away all our efforts with an ease of simple agents, and with ease of various different libraries, we can do the prompting so easily, right? So the rag has been so much sophisticated. So you can think back, okay, 3 months of effort is already gone. That's still there. That's definitely there. I agree for the point, right? So you're looking at a course, the course content creation and education. So as an innovation, as a center of excellence, right? So from that practice, so whatever that we try to create for the last 1 year, simply it gets outdated, right? So there are new innovations that's coming up. That's okay. Set aside. So the exploration is the main key. So the 2024 it was more of exploration. There is no denial of fact. So whatever that I have done, right? So there was a mere competition from Azure, AWS, Google, right? So we thought an open source could do a better job. right? So why should I pay for AWS or an Azure? But there is no way that I could compare a cloud platform to an open source. They're growing so fast, and since they're coming at us in managed service, the client are relying more on a managed service. So when I go with managed service like AWS for rack, I have literally 10% of my work. That's the total effort that I'm going to do if I'm going to pick AWS or Azure for any problem statements. So more of explorations that's going up. 2025 is year is going to be more of an implementation. So from a student standpoint, if you are in final year or just into the industry, focus on the programming language, right? The programming language and the critical thinking. So master the AI tools. Definitely the AI tools is one thing that's going to definitely make and change over, right? So day to day progress with various different AI tools, more exploration, keeping updated with various different things is the only way for at least for the first quarter of in 2025, right? So till March, till April, yeah. So this is going to be there. So more of
Yeah.
implementation will come in the second quarter of this year.
Okay, so thank you so for your answer. But there are some questions I just come in my mind, so I want to ask. You told some of the tools that we have to master, right? So can you mention some of the particular tools that these tools you must know? Something, any tools you want
The
to?
cloud is definitely working within cloud, right? So using Azure as a
Hmm.
tool to work, right? So how to use in cognitive service, how to use an AWS and to do it, how to use in LangChain to do it. So these are some frameworks that's coming up. So how can I use, so you building your own applications on your own and using in LangChain and Llama Index. So they have heavily invested in various different libraries and the development. It's an open source platform. There's a lot of investment funding is going into this open source framework. So try to leverage this open source frameworks and these tools. And how can I use various different tools, right? So the GitHub Copilot is doing a magic, right? So all this day, if you're a developer, right? So whenever you try to commit the code, what will you do? The code is committed, the error is fixed, the shit got fixed. We just mentioned whatever that comes to my mind, right? So when with the help of GitHub Copilot, right? So what was the actual error that was fixed? I could generate it in the commit message, right? So
Hmm.
using of an AI tools, right? AI companion for coding makes definitely a lot of change in the day-to-day programming. So mastering the GitHub Copilot, Cursor AI. So if you're a student, so the GitHub Copilot is for free, the pro version. So you can make use of that. So start using these basic tools. You can see the tremendous. So you don't have to rely on various different resources. You can create an application with mere 1 or 2 hour of time.
Yeah. Okay,
That's what
sir.
I mean.
Okay, sir. So, student, just one more important thing. Whatever sir suggested is that start using the tools as much as you can. And as a developer, we can use GitHub Copilot. That is help you a lot while developing or doing anything related to development. It will help you a lot. So, one more question is that where at which time? What do you think? Like after this much time, these things will stop. Like this much update and all these things, what time we are expecting that after 2024, 2025, and how much long it will take to
How
stop
much
all this
long it will take for what?
for like this updation and all these things, because the
There's
nowadays
no
in
end to it.
very initial phase it means that regular updates are there, so whatever the things will stable or something like this after how many time.
Definitely, even Sam cannot answer that. Okay, so it's an open source platform, right? So this LangChain, the people who were getting into data science and machine learning, we can say there was a quantity, right? X number of people getting into this generative AI and LangChain. You don't have to put a lot of math knowledge into it. So it's more of AI engineering. So even if you have a basic programming language and ideas to create an applications, anybody can enter into it. So these are open source frameworks, the LangChain, Llama. So since these are open source, the integrations from various different like, so for example, vector stores and embedders, it's growing rapidly, right? So one advice is, if you're creating an application, always give the version number to it. So whatever the LangChain package, so whatever the different embedders, whatever the files that you're using, always install it with the version numbers and create it as a virtual environment. So from a developer point of view, right?
Hmm.
So is there an end to it? No, definitely not. I don't have an answer to it. So nobody has an answer to it. So this is going so fast and so rapid, and people are investing billions and billions of money into it. So you can see the linear growth of it is going to be exponential, right? So it's not going to be linear, it's an exponential growth. So what I could say is that 2024 and 2025 half, it was an year of exploration more of. So we didn't see much of an implementation phase in the last year. 20 to 30% of Gen AI solutions were, a mere, I would say 25 to 30 were taken to productions. Right? This year and next year, it's going to be a game changer. Lot of explorations that whatever that we have done, the POCs and MVPs, definitely it will be taken to a production stage. Right? So we were clueless. So making in proper pipeline and creating in DevOps will happen this year and the next year. So whatever the applications and explorations will take a next step and leap using these AI agents. Yes.
Mm. Okay, so totally agree whatever you said. Even Sam Anbert cannot answer this thing till which date all these things will stop. But sir, my question is that, but it is impacting the job in industry. You are there in industry and you are just looking these things. So many companies are firing students. So what it impacting on the job? So in India, we all know that the job crisis are something we are calling. So how it will impact like AI due to AI, how job market is impacted?
So actually, using AI, we could create a lot of opportunities. AI is meant to reduce our burden, right?
Mm.
So it means like the rudimentary jobs, like say for example, the customer service industries, right? So what they do, whatever the queries that we are going to ask, they're going to search from a document and they're going to respond to us. So there is no mind work, right? So all they're doing is search and fetching some data from the existing database or some repository. So that can be completely eliminated using this AI tools, right? So we could use AI tools for betterment. So the clerical jobs, so the basic accounting, so whatever the things that we were doing, right? So the basic clerical jobs and the customer service industries, and say for it, in factories like an assembly line workers, right? So we could use and robots to replace the basic and simple assembly line workers. So these kind of things can get eliminated. That's actually trying to benefit us, right? So this could open a lot of job openings, right? So if you have to create an application, say for example 5-6 years back, so even at least I would say in 2018, 2019. So think of the practicality, right? So how much effort you have to put, how big time and how much investment and server you need to create an application, right? So in this point of time, right, I can create an application within simple laptop and a cloud platform within single
Mm.
person. So
Mm.
there is a lot of positive sides to it, and the rudimentary jobs will definitely be eliminated.
Okay, so which type of jobs will be there? Can you mention some of the jobs so student can just target those things? Whatever the skills will be there in future,
So,
like which.
we say the prompt engineering is everything. It's not everything, but definitely the prompting can change. There is a lot of opportunities using prompting. There is a lot of low-hanging fruits in the market, which we can tackle it using the basic prompting. So the prompt engineering, how can I do the basic prompting using and proper sequential chaining and all those things? So I could learn prompt engineering in a better way. That's easy to learn, and it's very quick to make use of all these AI tools, right? So how can I make use of these AI tools? I need to prompt it in a better way. How can I programmatically prompt it? So the prompt engineering is going to be definitely there. And say for example, an AI consultant, and we really working on it. So if you master at least 4 or 5 tools, if you're working there, so you can become an AI consultant and you can reciprocate whatever the knowledge that you have as an AI trainer to others. So that is one area, because everybody are getting into it. So whatever sector, let it be, right? So they should get into AI tools. So let it be a doctor, let it be a civil engineer, let it be an the chartered accountant. So everybody should learn about AI, right? So there is a lot of opportunities for an AI trainers, right? So these are some roles and job opportunities. We have a broad market opportunity right now. So these are some things where students could focus on.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, now you can ask anything, whatever comes in your mind. So you can ask the question in the chat section, and sir will answer your all the queries, all the doubt, whatever you have. Just put it in the comment section, and we will take care of all doubts. Right, sir. From my side, there is one thing like as a student, if I am a freshers, so is there any chance for me, like a student who is coming from non-tech background, he can directly go into the generative AI role, or what is the procedure, what is the roadmap for him to follow to go into these particular things?
Okay, see, Gen AI is a very broad term, right? So if you're going to be an application developer, right? So there you would need some knowledge of the basic Python and how to create an application. So what's in pipeline? So if you're completely new, right? So and if you want to create an application, right? So, or if you just want to get into the AI tools, if you want to generate AI, there are a lot of low code, no code platforms. Even Azure is coming up with low code, no code platforms. Even AWS is coming up with low code, no code platforms. So, what is your end goal? So, if you are a non techie and you want to get into this Gen AI, what is your end goal? So, if you want to generate images, so learning prompt engineering and curating it to get a better image is there, right? So, it's definitely possible with a lot of low code, no code platforms.
Okay, so anyone can just go and make transition in that particular field, I'd say.
Not for everyone. So whatever the domain you are, first be an expert into it. So to make, say, for example, you are a test engineer, the testing, the classical testing. So you are a
Mm.
master in testing. How can you use these AI tools to
Ah,
write the better test cases?
okay,
You
so
are an accountant. How can you
mm,
make use of this AI tool to make your accountant job better, right? So how to reduce your workload and increase the productivity with the existing jobs that you have? That's the primary thing. So you're a doctor, right? So how can you bring in various different AI tools through which you could reduce your workload, right? So if we should always have that intention, what is the domain that you're working, and this AI tools is an aid to reduce your workload, right? So AI tools is not in full time, so it's going to help or aid your domain skills, whatever you're a sports person, right? So you want to bring some analytics to it, you want to use an AI tool there. So with your existing domain knowledge, how can you use leverage AI to reduce the burnout?
yeah, yeah, got it, sir. So actually, if we have a domain knowledge or domain expertise, that will help you more. And if you are using the AI tools or AI, anything, whatever that comes in the AI field, then it will help you a lot. So there is a one
Exactly.
question on the screen, so we can just answer these questions. So can you please answer this?
How much knowledge is required to get a job in JA field? Do we need CV, DL? CV in the sense
Computer
what do you
vision,
mean? Deep learning and the open
computer
CV?
vision.
Huh? Sorry?
He's asking about the computer vision and all this thing.
Computer vision. Okay, okay, okay. See, the generative AI is in very broad term. So when we come, we are going to make use of the existing models that's already built, right? So whatever the existing models that's already built, we are going to build some applications using it. So it's more of an AI engineer than a data scientist. If you get into CV and the deep learning and computer visions, it's more of a machine learning engineer. So you are going to create your own models. So when it comes to generative AI, the existing models, the people have built the existing models. So how can I make use of the existing models, slightly fine tune it, and use it to solve some business problems? If your end goal is to fine tune an existing language model, you would definitely need the basic knowledge of deep learning, how to do the fine tuning, right? So coming to a developer point of view, you definitely need the basics. You should start with the basics of what is a neuron, what is a perceptron, how to connect, what is a hidden layer, what is the back propagation. So all these things is needed. Your end goal is just to make use of the existing AI tools. That is also again called as an Gen AI. It's an AI engineer, right? So AI engineer doesn't need all this knowledge. If you want to create a model and productionize that, so then comes your CV, deep learning, all those skills.
Yeah, okay. So I hope cricket in pie, you got your answer. Now come to the next question, and the next question is this: to see Nagren, Narayan Nagwin.
Okay, as we are in agentic AI, although it is controlling human computers without the human intervention, what will be the future of? Say, I have seen that demos, right? So it's able to control human. We were the hackers were controlling our human computers for very many long days ago, right? So how should we approach this agentic AI? So agentic, see, language model has a limited scope of understanding, right? So whatever the models that we have trained on, say for example, you have trained on Wikipedia data, right? And you ask any question to the language model, it will be able to retrieve from the existing knowledge it has. That's what the large language models biggest disability. It cannot answer the actual problems, actual answers. For example, you are having your domain question that you're asking to the language model, it doesn't know. For that, you'll have to do the fine tuning. So using this agentic AI, it's an boon, right? So I could create various different tools. Any question that you're going to ask, what is the share price of Google, what is the share price of ITC. So you are asking the current price, so it can go and perform in Google search, and it can retrieve and it can give the answer for you. So it can make use of the a new tool. So for example, you want to do some mathematical operations, I could make use of an external tool, right? So I'm programmatically writing some tools, it can perform a web search, it can do some mathematical operations. For example, you're sitting in a shop, right? So you're just giving in a chatbot, add new customer Sarveshwaran to the database. With a single line of text, it can add Sarveshwaran to the existing database, and it can consistently ask me questions. What's the age of Sarveshwaran? What is the designation? What is the salary? Right? So by asking consistent question, this tool can push my data to the SQL database that's already existing there. So agentic AI is like a tool which is able to overcome the disabilities of a language model, right? So I think agentic AI is definitely going to be a game changer. I personally feel it, I have felt it. And you can see 2025, 2026, we can see a lot of implementations. Already there are a lot of implementations that's happening here. So how can I make use of my own knowledge, my own theories, right? So my own calculations, that I can make use of these tools and I can respond to my own customers. So agentic AI is definitely going to be in boon for the AI.
Okay, so agentic AI is the future. So guys, work hard for that. And there is one more interesting question, sir. Please take it first. After that, I will take the other questions.
Can we expect
Yes.
on hiring and machine learning engineer? So definitely. So yeah, the rudimentary jobs are going away, right? So the jobs are going away, and the people are investing heavily in this AI, right? So and the ease for various different servers and the computing has become, I don't need a the supercomputer to run my own models. I could just click on Azure platform and I can learn it easily. So and creating in my own models, right, it's also easy nowadays, right? And using the existing data, how can I create my own model? So I see that there is the hiring is going to increase for the machine learning engineers. I want to fine tune my own model, how I want to take the existing models to some productions. It will definitely we could see an increase. On top of it, make sure that you learn some AI tools. That's definitely there, right? So
Yeah, one more thing I want to add. So, guys, this is the transition phase. This is the only phase you can make your career in that particular domain. If you just get into it right now, it means that your career is fine. If we compare to another field, na, so if you just go in that particular field in within, I think within a year, then it is a very good for you because you entered in that in a transition phase, in a very initial phase. So whatever happened, you can learn anything easily. If you're
correct.
not there in that particular field, if you are away from that particular field nowadays, so it will just I will say reach level 2, level 3, then it is very difficult to adopt, to just cope up with all this thing. Is it right, sir,
Correct.
or
Right.
not?
I would like to add up to Prince's statement, right? So I recently went to the Microsoft's, the A workshop, in which
Yeah.
one of the VPs and top leaders from Microsoft, he gave a bold statement, right? So we are in level 0 in generative AI. So everybody are learning new. Whether you're 10 years experience, whether you're a fresher, whether you're a college graduate, nobody knows anything about it. That's the
Hmm.
fact. That's the fact, because you can see that there is a drastic improvement, like you have said. We are all in level 0. So it doesn't matter whether you're 2 decades of experience or a decade of experience or
Yeah,
5 years of experience. So we are in level 0. If you could quickly equip, step into it and learn, that will be definitely beneficial time, right?
that's the only thing, na, sir. I am actually just saying again and again in the class as well. This is the time. If we are fresher, no matter if you have a 10-year experience, everyone is at
Yeah.
same level. So this is
Level,
the time you can
exactly.
just go into it and do as
Exactly.
much as you can do. So if you
Exactly.
just hard work for the 6 months or something like this, and you can just learn everything, adapt yourself,
Exactly.
so you can just come at that particular thing, or I will say at that particular level with a decade experience person. So you
Exactly.
both are at the same level. So this is the best thing. I think we are lucky. Anyone who are just going to transition in that particular area,
Exactly.
understand. So okay, then one more question is there, sir. Please take it to it. Okay, sorry for just yeah. What? Yeah.
You're a doctor. Okay. Let me tell you a funny story. Okay. So at least 3 4 years back, when all this AI platforms, when I started teaching, So we used to have a general introduction, right? So we had a cardiologist attending a data science session, right? So it was a deep learning session, convolution neural network. When we had an introduction, he said he is an actual resident, right? So he is actually a cardiologist, DNB cardiologist. So I was wondering what the hell he is doing here, right? So he was telling like, I'm learning deep learning, right? So at least 3 4 years back. So I was really fascinated and flattered, and he was the topper of that class. He learned the basics of Python. He learned our various different research papers in the convolution neural network, and he adopted it into the medical field. Now you are a doctor. Now in this world, whatever the domain, whatever, even if you have a simple the brick and mortar shop, right? So whatever the business, whatever the work you are doing, getting into AI tools is mandate. There's no denial of fact. How can I make use of this tool, existing tool? How can I make use of? So you, how can you create some agents to say there are a lot of research coming up, right? So you're a doctor. There's so many research that's coming up. To read and research paper, it's practically not possible to happen within a day or two, right? So to get into our mind, process it, think it in the viewpoint of the author, it's going to take a lot of time. As a simple question, upload that PDF to the chat GPT, you can see how beautifully it's giving in step by step what the author is thinking, what is the takeaway, and you can learn all these things with a fraction of seconds, right? So that's the boon, right? So I'm giving a simple example of chat GPT because everybody are aligned, so everybody have used this chat GPT. How can I use this existing AI tools? List out what are the day-to-day jobs that you're doing. How can I put in an AI there, right? So you are reading every day. Say for example, you're a doctor, you want to publish some papers, or you want to go for some conferences, right? So and you want to understand the latest technology that's coming up. Make use of this AI tools and come up and jot it down, and you can learn all the latest technologies quickly. So getting into learning some tools is not like how you are learning PowerPoint and Word, Microsoft Word. So this becomes a mandate. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so
Ritesh.
Prateek, one giveaway for you is that if you want to be go as the developer side, then you have to know how to wear the AI Z. If you're not interested to develop, then you can learn how to use them. That's the only
Correct.
thing. And if you are doctor, basically you are expert in your particular domain. So try to use the AI tools or try to develop something that are based on the AI. So that's the only
Exactly.
two things. I also gave the same whatever the sir already said. Sir, one more question from my side. Like you heard about that USA has just started new project and he just invested 500 million dollar for the AI. But some days before, we already heard that one news that someone I forget the name. He came to India and he was saying like that India will never achieve and create something like this. After this, our Indian government is not stabilizing anything or any domain, something like that is funding for the AI domain or anything. Why Indian government is not doing? And while USA, they are already at the edge, still they are doing these things. So what is this and how India will cope up with all these things?
Definitely, we cannot compare India with Western cultures. I agree with the fact we have the lack of infrastructure, we have the lack of research and development. So we always get into an place where it's directly monetizing it, right? So the deep mind which came up with the recent the model, they had a huge GPUs that was sitting idle, right? So they want to make use of it, and they built a model, right? So which was competing with the O1. So they have a huge infrastructure, so the investments are there. And uh, and what, and there is some national AI strategy that's coming up. And there was an initiative, I think, Rise 2020, right? So there is some funding that's coming up, but you cannot compare it with Western. So definitely it's there's
But
huge investments. You can see even the Trump government has announced there's going to be huge investments on the data centers that's going to build for AI, right? So but we are growing, it's not the fact. So we are going, definitely we are growing so much in the pharmaceutical. And the pharmaceutical is one area, and agriculture and in education. So these are three areas where India is definitely growing, right? So and nowadays the state governments and national governments are also partnering equally with startups. So I went to Bangalore, and I have heard that Bangalore has an collaboration with various different startup industries to tackle the Bangalore's traffic, right? So a lot of innovations is happening but small happening slowly.
Yes. So we have to just speed up our progress in that particular field. There is one question from Lagnar. Yeah, so please take it to it.
That's for the job vacancy, the number of applications are. Ah, like now, okay, okay. So I would say, so what have you applied? Where have you applied? I need more details, but definitely there is a lot of opportunities. So if there is a career break and you're getting into it, the challenges are more. And you're doing a career transition, the challenges are more. So there are 3 4 points when the transition is very difficult as a fresher and you're experienced and you want to make a career transition, when there is a career break and you want to get back into the industry. So these 3 phases, I have personally seen so many students, they struggle a lot even though they are talented. The industry doesn't directly pick them, right? So you have a career break directly, you cannot jump into a senior position, or it happens. The initial struggle is going to be very hard. So for that, I would I would answer it in different ways. So start up with certifications, right? So boost, give some weightages to your profile and work on some various open source projects. Build your GitHub profile, and adding so many certifications will be in definitely game changer, right? So for and the screeners for the HRIs, so you're really interested to crack this opportunity, right? So if a person is having a career break, joining the industry, and they don't want that resource, whoever they have hired after 10 months to quit the job, right? So showcase that you're more interested, that you are invested more time into it, right? So than anything else, right? Showcase that your interest is more. So build up your resume even more, and tackling with right keywords, right? So we have a lot of ATS screeners coming up. The right keywords in the resumes, those will be some game changers.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you. Lagna, I have one suggestion that I have created one video that whatever the mistakes we are doing while creating resume, while just searching for the job. So please go and watch this video. It will help you a lot if you are doing these mistakes. So it will help you a lot. And there is a one thing he is correcting me actually. That is 500 million. Oh, sorry, $500 billion. I was saying that million. Very sorry for that, cricket bhai. Okay. Sorry. So this is the question, I think, from the Lagna as well. This question.
Swapnil, okay. So some market like zero code application based in complex problem. Yes, so there is no code, low code platforms even from Azure, but we'll have to pay for that tool, right? So if you're using open source, it's free, right? So you can be a developer, write your own. So if you are using low code, no code platform, you'll have to pay for the developer whoever has built it, right? It's in cloud platforms, but creating an application is simple, right? So you can have various different no code, low code platforms that coming up from Azure, AWS, and Google. So these cloud providers are coming up with low code no code platforms. We don't have to write any code, right? So I think that was why do we need to write programs, right, for complex problems, right? So writing code, it's there is no denial of fact. So there is some limitations, right? The low code platform has certain limitations with the developer's mentality, right? So in a DSLR taking with an auto mode and a manual mode, so I cannot customize to an extent where the no code low code platform has. As a developer, I can create my own custom components and create in pipelines for it. So that's where an writing program is more important, and it also has a creative thinking ability, right? So using GitHub Copilot, even though it creates a code for me, the complete code, you should have the capability to go back, analyze, and agree and deny on some fact. So this is wrong, I don't want this here, I want this here. So the basic programming knowledge is important, right? So that's where I'm saying, right? So make use of this AI coding companion tools, the Cursor and GitHub Copilot, and also the basic coding is important. There is no denial of fact, at least for
Okay.
years to come.
So, Swapnil, I will also want to add something in that. If you want to go into the industry, the first round you have to face is coding. So whether they are using, no matter. But you have to go in an interview. You have to face the first round as a coding round. So you have to prepare anyhow. Whatever it will happen in the future, nobody knows. But you have to prepare for it, right?
Yes.
So you should focus on that. So don't go in a denial mode that no code platform are there. I will not do this and those. I will not learn any coding. So it will not help you. It will not go. or I will say allow you to enter in the industry. So for that,
Exactly.
you have to focus on that.
And also,
And
right, so it enables and brings a lot of critical thinking ability. How can you model yourself? So
yeah, that actually I already covered in the DSA part. Why DSA learning is not that get into the product based company, but it help you to just think logically. It make you to do the solving the problem. It help you a lot in personality wise as well, and obviously it will help you to go into the Google, find any company offers, whatever the prestigious.
okay.
So Pratish Rane, so
So what type of jobs are open for me? See, there is a lot of jobs. The I would say the NLP, right? So NLP side of data science have strength, definitely, right? So to create embedding, we had to write a huge number of codes. Now I don't have to create my own embedding because there are so many embedding models that's directly available, right? So the other areas, the CVs and the deep learning part, and there is a lot of openings, right? There are low hanging fruits, and not everybody have implemented the basic forecasting thing, right? So how can I do in basic forecasting, the sales forecasting for the next 6 months, right? The time series forecasting. How can I do some basic predictions whether the customer will use this product, who will not use this product? So there is a lot of openings in the basic data science. Now the market is inclined and going to this glamorous world of generative AI, but there are a lot of problems that can be solved using this data science, that is there. And definitely there is a lot of opening. And also getting into this AI tools, learning how can I make use of some AI tools. That's also one thing. It's an add-on weightage to the existing data science role. So what types of jobs? Definitely there is machine learning engineer, data analyst, and BA engineers. So everything is there. So what skills are essential for freshers to crack a high package in the machine learning and data science? Considering future trends, if you are a fresher, programming, programming, and solving all the top lead code problems. You can again argue, why lead code? Why should I have to lead code? Just copy paste the problem in chat GPT is going to give me answer, right? So it doesn't, chat GPT is not going to work, right? So the critical thinking comes from you, right? So the basic, the high level design, low level design, and the system design, and your of the programming capability, that is definitely there, right? So if you're getting into a high and you're a fresher, right? So the basics of programming is very very important. Don't get into this flow of AI today. The AI is there. By the time you're there in the industry for 2 3 years, you cannot say, I know prompt engineering, I can do everything in prompt engineering. Definitely all this will be automated in in months to come. We don't know what it's waiting for us. But the basics, right? So how I think about, how I approach the problem statement, how I solve these problems, the the critical thinking and logical thinking is very important. So will agent AI replace rags? See, bro, cricket pie. So RAG is an retrieval augmented generation. I could make use of agents to better retrieve the content. So I could have an agentic RAG, right? So I could have an agentic RAG. It's not going to replace it. Nothing is going to be replaced. So it's a very generic term. A RAG is a generic term. So I could customize and I can have it. So using agents, I could have a multi-version, multi-supervisors. I can have an agent speaking to another agent using a in line graph. I can use an agent giving a task to another agent, and that I can create a pipeline, a flow using the line graphs and also the autogens. Right? It's not going to replace. It could aid, right, the better retrieval. If you have worked on critical problems and RAG, we have seen the retrieval is the most prominent part in this RAG, right? So the retrieval is not always of better quality. So we could retrieve better using these agents. So we were working on re-racking strategies and better retrieval techniques. So these agents can use the tools to retrieve better and create better generations. It's not going to replace RAGs.
So, okay, sir, thank you. So, guys, I think we have taken a lot of questions. Some of the questions are left. So, I will just mention some of the only question because it's already 40 minutes already we have covered, and sir is giving answer one after one. So, Some of the only few questions I am going to take. So if you have any question, just put it down in the comment section as soon as possible. Right after 5 to 10 minutes, we are going to close this session. So do and write your comment whatever the doubt you have. So we will just comment you later as well. And if sir can answer, if the time allow us, so we will do possible. So there is one question, sir, from the Sam. Is it? Please check without experience.
See, that's where, right? So if you get into experience, you're just getting into the top end car directly, right? So without learning the basics, you're just getting into an autopilot mode, right? So without learning how to drive, right? So you're just giving point A to B, and you claim that I know how to drive a car, right? So you get into a Tesla car and you're fixing the destination. I want to go from point A to point B, and you cannot claim that I know driving, right? So if you directly get into the JNA and claim yourself that you are a data scientist, you'll get stuck at a point, right? So if you'll have to get back and work on something at the basics, you'll struggle. So getting from basics, fundamentals, from you're a student, there's a long time to go, right? So fix your basics. Once you're from the student to 3 years of 3 to 4 years of experience, is the best time to fix your basics. That's the most important part, right? So when you're a student, so basics as in the basics of programming, the fundamentals of data science, understanding what's a neuron, what is a perceptron. So the understanding difference between a neuron and perceptron, we have seen a lot of challenge with various different students. And what is in back propagation, what is in forward propagation, how does the flow happens. So these are the basics. Understanding the basics, it's the most important fact, right? So don't get into Gen A directly and claim yourself as a data scientist. That's completely wrong. And pick and domain or some core role. Say for example, you're a data analyst, or some core role. You're going to solve a problem in a specific domain. You're going to use Gen A as an aid to solve a problem. You should always think Gen A as an aid to solve some business problem, right? Just not learning various different AI tools. That's how you should start approaching the problem. What's the end goal?
Okay.
What types of projects are companies expecting from freshers in machine learning and data science field? The ability to basically clean the data. How can you procure the data, clean the data from various different databases, and how will you take the model to in production? So you have built the model, how will you take the model to in production? And full stack data scientist is something what you should have at least the ability to understand the full flow of an data sciences. How do you procure the, how do you collect the data, how do you clean the data, how do you model the data, how do you take the model to in production, ML ops, right? So this is the flow that and the companies are expecting. There are so many projects. The forecasting is there, and the predictions, the classical classification models are there, and your regression models are there. There are a lot of things that's happening in your financial areas. The people are just experimenting with Gen A, right? So nobody is taking things to production. So the financial, the banks and all, they just don't go with something that's blabbering, right? So the language model is not giving an accurate answer. Rather, the machine learning model is coming up with probabilities, right? So there are a lot of industries that's still going up with the classical data science and machine learning. Yeah.
So I think thank you, sir, for your answers. And guys, so this is the last question I have taken. If you have any question, please mention. I will just answer your query in the comment section. I think time has over, and now we have to end the sessions. So, sir, anything you want to just give any advice to the students, and if they want to get into Gen AI, what they have to do? Something, any motivation line or something, whatever you want to say.
Okay, so a lot of students were there, and they were so excited about AI tools. So do I. So do Sam Altman. So does Jeff Bezos too. What? So Sundar. So everybody are excited about this AI, right? So setting the fundamentals strong and getting instead of seeing everything here and there, start applying something, whatever that you have learned. At least, so we use a lot of models from Hugging Face. How will you use a model from Hugging Face? How will just take a model? How do you use a model in your local? How could you use an Olama? How could you use an API from an Hugging Face? fix the basics. How can you do the basic things? It takes a lot of time, right? So we are not machines, right? So just to learn the basics, how to take an APK from Hugging Face and make use of the existing model, it's going to take a lot of time for you if you are completely new to using an Hugging Face. How can you use an existing OpenAI model, right? So just experiment and explore a lot. Follow the tutorials that's given by experts. Just try to replicate it at first. Whatever the experts have done, that they have done a lot of experiments in it. Just replicate it and build up your GitHub portfolio. That's a starting point, which I would say for a lot of explorations.
Yeah, okay, so thank you. So guys, thank you very much for joining us. And now you can go and enjoy cricket match as well. So I know some of the people are busy in podcast as well in cricket. So now you can freely enjoy your cricket. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, sir, for just giving
Thank you.
such a wonderful answers. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.